Greetings, Batprince here, and today, on Sexy Saturday, we're playing something a little bit different to what we usually play on the Sexy Saturday games. Yes, that is right. We're going to try and have sex with Stalin. Oh, this seems more gory than sexy. Should I put this on Sexy Saturday, or should I just have this as a normal game? Oh boy. So if anybody follows me really close, you'll know that new game, I guess. Hold on.
How many people should be executed before Beria is accused of being a butcher? And at what point do we finally execute him because of it? He has too much influence now, and these thoughts stink like damn rotten capitalism. The man would have turned over in his grave 3 times by now.
Okay, so this is going to be a fairly long episode because I'm going to go 100% achievements on this. I am using a guide. Over here, I have my little phone. My phone says, start a new game. It didn't tell me which one to go through, but it did say, note, the first playthrough, dialogue cannot be skipped. So my first choice, there is no choices here, has to be, no! I'd rather kill you. Sorry, I am possibly interrupting you, but...
Fucking fuck. Incavity. There's a spy. Shoot him.
Uh-oh. Comrade Stalin, don't kill me, please.
Well, wait a minute. You're naked. Why on Soviet land? There's a naked guy in my office, and he wants to rape the general secretary. Call for Comrade Beria right now. This is treason. State treason.
Is it? Comrade Stalin, I am not going to rape you.
Well, yes. Your shirt too doesn't look at all terrifying. Even Malinkosting is more impressive, though he's never been famous for his.
Comrade Stalin, I came from the future. In my time, the year is 2300, and the 5th term anniversary is celebrated this year. But I won't say the ruler's name. Election day is coming, and I am sure he will not become head of the Holy Slavic Empire again. Not for the 51st time, but it wasn't me who told you that, eh? You ain't seen me, right?
Talking nonsense. And I should mention that you're looking less and less intimidating. In fact, you don't look intimidating at all. You just took me by surprise while I was lost in my thoughts. And if you value your life, though it will be short, of course, believe me, I can make it even shorter.
If you mean that you want to frame Beria and kill him, I did not hear anything, I swear.
So, you've chosen death then. You are lucky that I have a gun in my pocket. Alright, I can give you another choice. You wanna be shot in the head or in the heart? I can also shoot your nutsack off first if you wish. I will make you scream like a little girl.
Zukyov is plotting against you.
That's nothing new.
You are going to die soon.
Not surprised. I'm already old, my dear boy.
After you, Kushnekiv will become leader, not Malenkov.
Of course he will. I didn't take him in hand for nothing. Me and Nikita Sergeyevich had a conflict in the past, but we settled it. And talking about Comrade Georgi, he's not farsighted enough, and he understands it himself.
Your daughter is going to immigrate to the USA in a dozen years.
She always was a romantic person with a passion for new things.
Starting with Lenin and you, all leaders exhibit a pattern. First bald, and then a head of hair.
Khrushchev had a bald head, so your rule doesn't work. What? Stop. How can you know this indeed? Who are you?
I am from the future. I am here to help.
What was the name of my father?
He was commonly known as Besto.
Why was I expelled from a theological seminary?
Officially because you didn't come to the exam. But in reality, it was because of Marxism. Propaganda, especially the nationalistic sort.
You know, my father regularly beat me and my mother. I could not accept this from a religious person, so I turned to Marxism.
It's true that your father beat you sometimes, but when he was drunk, it was your mother who was beaten the most. But it was not this that turned you to Marxism. The real reason was the hellish teaching methods of those theological seminary. They were beyond all imagination.
How old was I when I lost my virginity? In your time, it's probably not a secret.
When you were 16, it was a rainy night with a hayloft. She was a beautiful stranger with a black eyes.
When was my first time with a man?
There never was one.
Okay, last question. What I did to Roosevelt when we met at the Yalta Conference in 1945? I've never told this to anyone.
Well, not long before meeting him, you scratched your groin with one hand, wiped your butt with the other, and then shook his hand with both your hands. He never knew this, but you felt contented anyway. Stupid bear-hugging maniac.
Okay, maybe you are from the future, or maybe you're a cunning liar. Anyway, you know too much. Don't worry, my dear. You have no chance of surviving through the night, so we can just take our time and enjoy this conversation. And why not? I have insomnia anyway.
I really came here to help you.
For sure. Yesterday, a maid wanted to help me too, but she had a Mauser in her hand. She was dashing about as fast as lightning, wild and bold. She wanted to kill me. She wanted that so much.
But what?
But she left my office in the morning with her bottom falling out. Beria overdid it. And 1 day later, she was executed. But it doesn't matter now. Let's get started. But before, Comrade Time Traveler, please bend over and cough. I need to check you for spyware.
No, I'd rather kill you.
What are you doing?
I am going to punch your face in.
Oh, damn it. I'm gonna break you.
No, Stalin approved torture.
Stalin never changed. Only Papadanin could render any significant impact, and as a result, his attack prompted Stalin to think about everything. His thoughts led him to the trivial truth. He had promised to help me, but instead tried to kill me. So no one can be trusted. Everyone lies, and lie is a savior. And salvation is in death. The complete freedom of actions within the current legislation was proclaimed in the USSR, but any divergence was punishable. If you stole, you would be shot. If you deceived, you would be shot. If you killed, you would be shot. If you learned something you shouldn't, you would be shot. The people of USSR weren't ready for this. Many didn't understand the new laws and were confused about what was forbidden and what was not. The rules of life in USSR were subsequently promoted on television and radio channels around the clock. Special courses and tests were organized. Stalin liked the idea of courses so much that they were eventually introduced in schools. Every citizen at the age of 20 had to pass a test of the knowledge of laws. Those who did not pass were executed. Unrest began to rise as a result of constant executions. Stalin then decided to take part in the test. He became the first person to fail the test on air during a TV show. And, according to eyewitnesses, Stalin barked an order at one of the nearby soldiers. "Shoot!" The soldier begged the leader to take his words back, but Joseph was adamant. And so he was shot on air. The death of the leader sunk deep into the souls of Soviet citizens. It initiated the unconditional subordination of the Soviet people to the party. The USSR was headed by Beria, and he continued in Stalin's bloody footsteps.
Go, 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 Joseph, you know what they say. Go, 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 Joseph, you'll make it someday. No, 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 Joseph, you're doing fine. So, start game, right? New game. Now I'm allowed to skip the dialogue by spamming the spacebar. Spacebar! Woo! We already had this bit, we gotta go do it again! Nah! Spacebar, okay. I'll do it. Huh? What happened? Yuck.
You know, Comrade Traveler, I received some interesting materials yesterday. I'm curious what you may think about them, and you can compare them to your time.
Okay, Comrade Stalin, I will study the materials right away.
Trash, you have enough.
Can we do the thing where we spam spacebar until the next time? Yes, we can. Is there any practical possibility for pushing some effort into the what? Bullying ideal that is communism?
There are plenty of us.
Spam! He says something about, how do you feel about cultural heritage, Comrade Stalin? Spamming! Pop culture? You need to prompt the start of a simple mass culture in your country. In the future, there are rappers, breakdancers, street artists, and bloggers. There are the people of pop culture, and they are the best influences for the hearts and minds of our youth. And not only for the Soviet Union, but for the entire world. I shouldn't say this, but your lack of this becomes one of the reasons that your heritage falls apart in the future.
I would never have thought.
Spam! So am I gonna perform a long rap? I want to rap about the door. Something natural, please. Or I want a hard rap. Let's do a long rap.
Демонстрация силы на демонстрации, неся плакаты, не обосраться бить. Простому народу всюду смерть и голод, на кровавых знаменах страх и холод. Союз Советов не нуждается в советах. Из кабинетов путь в стальных браслетах. Личность установлена, ты враг народа. Коробка сосновая, теперь твоя свобода. Культ моей личности над обезличенными. Мои усы, как символ тирании. Был Джугашвили, стал Иосиф Сталин. Для тебя Иосиф Виссарионович, лох папин мамин. Мой памятник и бюст в каждом доме. Толпы народа на поклонке коне. Только новый спаситель. Это я. Вместо крестного хода демонстрация. Дом культуры, твой новый храм. Вместо хоругви флаг в руки дам. Обо мне будут помнить, только подожди. Живут в памяти вечно такие вожди. Буду в сердце тех, кого я поебу. Полюбят после ссылки на Колыму. Живу роскошно, я на Поволжье. Землю жрут вилкой и ложкой. Строю империю на слезах и костях. Круглов и Берия носят на руках. На кирзовых сапогах твой жалкий прах. Пошел нахуй, сука, я твой страх.
Drop the mic!
Stalin never changed.
Fuck, of course.
Only Papadanin could leave a lasting impression. And thanks to that, Stalin became a world-famous hip-hop artist.
Yeah, baby. That was fucking awesome.
At first, people laughed at his rhymes, but then they started to listen.
Anything worth doing is worth doing well.
Repressions became the main theme of Stalin's music. He was now known as MC Gulag. Exalted fans were falling into epileptic fits while he performed amidst mass executions on the Red Square.
Everything for the art.
Millions of foreigners tried to get into the USSR just to attend those bloody performances. The Iron Curtain fell down and Stalin became a symbol of a daring new art form. But it was not to last. An unknown fan somehow managed to get past all the security and stabbed Stalin to death while screaming, "If I can't have you, no one can." Stalin's death caused a major furor. For a whole month after the pop culture genius demise, his top songs rotated on the radio and TV.
You should have heard my "Oh, my green pine. Don't make a noise under me."
But there were some people who attributed all of Stalin's success to a mysterious manager who perished in the stampede at Stalin's funeral.
That was awesome. I regret nothing.
Nice. Game over. I failed again.
I wonder how many people should be executed before
Lloyd.
Beria is accused of being a butcher. And at what point do we fuck you? So that what why how when okay last but before camera time traveler, please bend over and cough. I need to check you for
Bend over and cough. Alright, so my read-through says that I should just start a new game. And load 4? I can't load 4. It doesn't make any sense. I can't load anything. So I have to say, okay, I'd rather do it, right? And the next one is meant to be ballet.
traveler. Don't. But at the same time, I sometimes think that communism is
Practical possibility. None of these is okay ballet.
at least due to the fundamental subjectivity of individual consciousness.
Can I save it all?
The socialism that we have now, it is in fact
No.
the same capitalism
Menu.
already completely
Stalinopedia.
global monopolist.
None of that's got anything to do with it. Explanatory note.
There is the
No.
monopoly on trade, legislation,
Okay.
production,
I'm confused. Can we exit to main menu?
monopoly on
Yeah, that's 4. And I can say ballet. Which is the second. There we go. Ballet.
excuse me.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
And it should just go to the next achievement where I get Renaissance Man. 100,000 responses later. We're gonna watch Stalin do some ballet. Can we skip this? I don't want to watch this. Ah, don't show me that.
Stalin never changed.
Yeah.
Popadanin
We don't need to see this.
lasting impression, and Stalin uplifted.
I want to skip this.
Just culturalized.
Is there a way to skip?
The Soviet opera and ballet conquered the world.
I did best the
Force
that's
quit.
good. And my arabesque is
Oh
fucking
no,
awesome.
alright.
This period is known
Let
as
it
the
go.
golden age of culture in the USSR.
So the next one with the load game
writers
3,
and artists were born.
don't
Of
you
course,
think
many of
it
them
makes
then
sense
faced the
to
firing
focus
squad
on some
for their
advanced?
disloyalty to the country and the party.
Of course, how else?
But despite continual purges, the people worshipped Stalin in churches and monasteries. His antiques can be seen in every city.
I am beautiful.
Unfortunately, he fell from a horse while playing the role of a daring hussar in his own production at the Bolshoi Theater. Broke
Get on with it!
and died shortly after that.
I'm gonna tell
Ow!
you right away. Breaking a spine is nothing like building a communism.
However, the purges didn't stop at his death, and this eventually led to a full-scale riot.
Oh, this is gonna be like an hour video.
To seize
Whatever,
power.
man.
My school.
Popadanin was accused of being anti-classical and faced the firing squad.
That's what you get for fucking dancing.
Yeah. Bitch face. Come on! Let's get back into it. Can I go load game or do I have the new game at the start? Load game. Ah, look at this. I can go 3 here. Which takes me to... Don't you think, Comrade Stalin? Stalin?
Then I can
1,000 repositions later.
How do you like my modernization?
Robot head!
This upgrade back me up with a hammer like my father did in my childhood.
Robo man. Ah.
Ow,
Ow.
it hurts. Looks okay. Ow! All meatbags must be executed.
No!
Never changed. Only Popadanin
Alright,
could
I
leave
did
a
that
lasting
one.
impression, and the USSR's military-industrial complex went into overdrive, building new
These
automated
endings, man.
factories for converting people into cyborgs.
I call that restructuring of the people.
Joseph went through the transformation himself, becoming one of the first half humans, half machines.
Just to stop my knees from creaking, I became very old.
When Soviet scientists managed to create an AI based on Stalin's brain, the situation turned to worse. Stalin, the machine, declared a crusade against the flesh.
The Matrix glitched a little bit.
Popadanin was the first victim, and then everyone who did not undergo the cyborgization was purged.
That's what I call a repression.
Where was I up to? What if the USSR is attacked?
Back. And I'll think about
Something about legalize. 1,000 responses later. Oh, that's fine.
Stalin never changed. Only one time traveler could render any significant impact, and as a result, Stalin began to carry out the convergence events with the Western culture, trying to weaken the tensions of the international relations. The repressions, propaganda, and civil order were weakened.
we didn't even touch the gay people, I must notice.
There were obvious signs of gradual decline in defense capabilities, and this became a threat to the security of the country. However, Stalin continued to make his ideas a reality, and the Soviet Union took a smooth course to comply with the international regulations, and anyone who showed dissent was repressed. The Soviets had an unemployment issue, increasing drunkenness and promiscuity.
If you ask me, that was a plus.
And suddenly, a number of movies, TV shows, books, and songs appeared about the situation. Many things were happening, and not all of them were good. The leadership of the USSR soon approved gradual abolition of state property and gradual return to private property. After a while, the USSR became recognized as the leading country in freedom and legalization.
I always get what I want, but with a joint, I'm even better.
But the enemies took advantage of the weakened USSR. They began a military intervention under false pretenses. Stalin and the time traveler were killed during the storming of Kremlin. The provisional government controlled by the US was then organized.
What have I done?
I wonder how many
Oh no! How do I get out?
before Beria is accused of being a butcher. And at what point do we finally execute him?
Oops. Sorry. Load game. 1. Wait, 2. Maybe you are right.
Why not put an end to an upheaval? Unfortunately, we must. It is terrible. I've always been
Did you ever think about development of a man's physiological abilities? I mean,
measures.
both personality in general. Or Soviet people, for example.
Did I? Of course I did. And not only me, actually.
People are fond of healthy reactional
It
activities.
sounds like yoga and, of course,
10,000 responses later.
Only Papadanin could leave a lasting impression, and Stalin became an ascetic.
at least I lost some weight.
He stopped eating meat and started to practice yoga, martial arts, and meditation. He spurned his administrative duties, seeing them as a source of stress and anger. But his self-imposed removal from the country's political scene led to fierce infighting in the ranks. The party did not approve of the leader's lifestyle, and in the end, Malenkov, Beria, and Khrushchev united to depose Stalin.
And we used to drink together.
On his 102nd birthday, Stalin was poisoned by one of the members of Politburo.
If you raise a snake, expect to get bitten. I should have done more reparations.
Stalin's spiritual guru was then declared the enemy of the people and a spy, and faced the firing squad.
Left their mortal shells.
I mean, why don't I just, edit those parts out? It's boring and I'm not even here. Alright. Load game, top right. I believe that would use specialized programs through simulation. Something, something. 10 responses later.
Stalin never changed. Only Papadanin could leave a lasting impression, and Stalin became a professional athlete, earning more and more accolades with each passing year.
Stalin is a chief. Stalin is a champion. Ave me.
The USSR became the leading sports power, winning every tournament, championship and trophy.
Couldn't have happened differently.
Riding this wave, Stalin invented new sports, mostly inspired by the purges, purges ball, purge by, purge yard and many more.
And what could you do? I had to mix business with pleasure.
No one could stop the leader and his sports craze. But enemies of the country used the fact that Stalin was competing personally and devised a cunning plan. The Olympic Committee and the World Anti-Doping Agency accused Stalin of using steroids, stripped him of all his titles and accolades, and banned the country's athletes from all international competitions.
They set up the hero of the nation.
Stalin couldn't bear this injustice and suffered a fatal heart attack, and his coach committed suicide.
Well, good bouncing to him. Ugh. What do you believe is to be the purpose of life?
That's a very nice question. But every human has a duty to find his own reason to live. My duty is to provide.
How do you provide for people's lives, so to speak?
First of all, I provide
10,000 respirations later.
everybody dance.
10 repressions later.
Ah, fuck. Let's do this. Marco!
Polo.
Polo.
Stalin never changes. Only a certain person known as Papadanin was able to exert any significant influence on him. As a result, the Soviet leader organized a number of ideological purges that sharply increased,
Who would have thought?
the patriotism level in the USSR. This, in turn, sharply increased the birth rate
People started giving birth non-stop.
and the economic development. Drunk with success, Stalin forgets about limits and gets drunk himself incoherent. Despite the huge number of guards,
Sons of bitches.
no one was able to stop the General Secretary of the CPSU from jumping out of the window. As a result, Joseph died from a fractured cervical vertebra. Papadanin was charged with poisoning Stalin and consequently shot.
shot, huh? So it's that simple, is it? You are simply playing the role of the waiter who says people to the truth of the silver platter.
Rise. Sometimes. What a nightmare.
Blah blah blah.
I didn't quite get what you just told me. But I made a decision. We need to shoot everyone like this. Pow, pow, pow. I guarantee you, I will make repressions great again. My word.
Your word. 20, 40 million and 13 things later. We're in space!
Now, it's time for a bang. You know, I regret nothing.
No, not the world! We need that to live on!
Beautiful. Hey, I would like some kebab now, huh?
How about some of this? Woo! How's that for feedback?
Held and deeply disturbed by this knowledge, Stalin came to a decision. This decision was a hard one, but Stalin believed that it was the only correct one.
Kill everybody.
All political conflicts, economic crisis, religious faiths, even the daily life of man brought only discord, strife, and suffering. When birthing a child, a woman experienced horrible pain, and the newborn who just entered the world got a slap on the butt and a dose of hurt when his lungs opened up for the first time. The world would never be just, and humanity's egoism already led to an extinction of many species, and the endless wars, killing millions, greed, hypocrisy, lies, corruption, suffering of innocent folks. Stalin decided to break this circle and prepare for the destruction of the world. A new weapon of mass destruction was launched into space to his direct order, the Death Sputnik.
At first, I wanted to call it the Death Star, but then I changed my mind.
The orbital bombardment that followed was apocalyptic by itself, but in its wake followed tsunamis, earthquakes, landslides, and hurricanes. The few who survived the initial onslaught did not have the means to survive in those conditions. The last people would die from hunger, cold, and radiation. And then, when the smoke cleared, oceans would stop boiling and the winds would calm down. Then the Sputnik unleashed the last barrage, and the Earth was no more. The humanity could not hurt anyone ever again.
And then I was just hanging out at a satellite, just chilling.
Whatever, man. Let's hurry up. We got like 100 new endings to go through, and we're already at like 45 minutes. Sucks, man.
Not long ago, I had the opportunity to read us. I'm ready to do anything for the sake of We probably won't live to see the fruits of our work, but I will make every repress. Yeah, you said video.
Next ending.
And now a little bit of propaganda. Oh, here you go.
Stalin never changed. Only Papadanin could leave a lasting impression. To put an end to crime, the Soviet leadership decided
Can we
to
skip
implement
through this
unilateral
ending
power
bit?
state. KGB agents installed surveillance cameras everywhere and tapped every landline. Huge numbers of agents were recruited to facilitate this, and they too needed an oversight. No one escaped the law. Overseers were eventually recruited in their infancy and raised under a special system, making them the ideal agents of control. Then chip implantation began. Every adult and child got one. The chips were
I haven't got one.
in the spinal cord and provided both constant monitoring and the option to disable a problematic citizen. But this total control led to stagnation, economic crisis and hyperinflation. Unrest was quelled by mass disablings, but this presented an opportunity to Stalin's rivals. He was offered a special chip of his own, one that would let him access all the surveillance systems and disable anyone with his mind. The implantation was a success, but the chip was compromised. When trying to use it for the first time, Joseph disabled himself. Papadanin and Beria were accused of this deed and executed immediately.
Good. Next. Do you know that in the future you're called a dictator?
Really? Why?
Cause you're a jerk.
Tell me more about
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at that bomb! That's bomby beautiful!
beautiful. I have an idea.
Make it go boom!
And wait a little. Open now.
Only Papadanin could leave a
Oh,
lasting
come on.
impression, and Stalin returned to the idea of a permanent revolution.
It was an interesting plan, but too complicated. Even I didn't get it.
Military exercises began en masse. All eligible men were drafted. Anyone trying to evade the draft was arrested.
Who didn't serve cannot call himself a citizen.
Military research facilities developed weapons of mass destruction, and their mass production started shortly. Propaganda turned Stalin into a Rambo. The name was suggested by Papadanin, a mighty super soldier capable of decimating enemy armies with his bare hands.
Sometimes
No!
you have to tell a little lie.
Nuclear weapons were tested. Unfortunately, one such warhead exploded while being transported,
It was really unexpected.
and this incident was thought to be an act of sabotage by the US spies. Stalin ordered a retaliatory strike on Florida.
I just pointed at a random place on the map.
Joseph and Papadanin both died from a little dose of radiation in an underground bunker near Moscow. The last order signed by Stalin called for even harsher measures against pacifists.
Alright, this has gone on too long. You get one more ending. And then I'm ending the video. I'll do the rest of the endings off of the video. But be sure. It 1, 2, and 3.
No, I love this country and it
Alright.
state your plan.
Let's see what's going on.
Stalin never changed. Only Papadanin
Just
could
more
render any
ending
significant
stuff.
impact, and as a result, Stalin turned to ideas of economic reforms and their gradual introduction to life in the USSR. Using the time traveler's knowledge of the future of
Alright,
the world,
you guys
Stalin
don't have to
implemented
see
the
this
ideal economic
outro
society,
thing.
carefully
sure
avoiding
you've seen as
any
much as you
political
need to see.
barriers. The USSR became the leading technological
I'll see you
power
kitties
of the
sometime.
world. It had the
Later.
first computers,
99.
services, internet and gadgets. A vast variety of technologies were created and sold